Hello, my name is Brenda, Councillor, and today we're going to learn some more medicines, and we're going to listen to a story today, March 3rd, and the snow is still on the lake, the ice is still on the lake, so I'm going to tell the Winnebago story. And then you'll also learn the medicines in the story. A long time ago, there was a great famine under earth, and people were looking for food, and they couldn't find no food. And the great Ojibwe trickster, who was half human and half spirit, he was grown to be a young man, and he was walking around the lake, and he was looking for food. So he seen off in the distance. Something dancing and swaying in the wind. It was swaying in the wind. Oh, look at those dancers, he thought. And then he thought to himself, I have a plan. I am going to make, I'm going to have a dance. Okay, he went over there, he told all the birds, come on and help me build a wigwam. We're going to have a dance. So all the birds gathered, and they built this great big wigwam with one door in, just one door. So they worked all day. Pretty soon the dance was going to happen. So all the birds came in. Mong, shishibug, the geese, and the ducks. And so pretty soon they all filed into the lodge, and they were all in the lodge. And Winnebago says, now, I want you to shut your eyes, and I want you to dance blindfolded. And do not open your eyes. So all the ducks closed their eyes, and then Winnebago started to sing. Yo-ho, Johnny K, yo-ho, Johnny K, yo-ho, Johnny K, yo-ho, Johnny K, yo-ho, yo-ho, Johnny K. And the birds were dancing. Pretty soon you could hear quack, 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 quack. And as they were dancing around, Winnebago was grabbing them, and he would wring their neck, and then he put them by him. And more birds, and they'd keep on dancing. That sounds really good, he says. Really good. Nakamo, nakamo. Sing some more. Yo-ho, Johnny K, yo-ho, Johnny K, yo-ho, Johnny K, yo-ho, Johnny K. Pretty soon, the birds were going, ah, ah, as Winnebago was going, they were coming, he was grabbing them, and he'd wring their neck, and he had a whole bunch of birds by him. So pretty soon, the Hmong come along, and he says, he peeked. The Hmong peeked. Let's all get out of here. We got to get out of here. Winnebago is going to kill us. So other birds opened their eyes. Pretty soon, Winnebago went over there, and he went and kicked that duck right in the hind tail. And those birds that peeked during the shut-eye dance, to this day they have red eyes. If you see a Hmong, a loon, he will have red eyes. Some of the ducks have red eyes, and that because they peeked, and they alerted all the rest of the birds in the wigwam that Winnebago was killing them. So they all got away, and Winnebago, he got supper. He got a couple ducks. So he got his ducks. He built a big fire, and he started cooking his ducks. Well, Winnebago, he stuck those ducks in the ground in the hot coals, and their legs were sticking up, and they were in there cooking. So he told the fire, hey, Ishkode, you watch, I'm going to take a nap. You make sure, you watch me. So Winnebago, when he laid down next to his fire and pretty soon his behind got on fire. So he gets up and he puts a fire out, and he's dragging himself along the lake, and the ground to get the fire out, and all over the ground till the fire was out, his whole behind burned. So he didn't have time to see what was with his ducks. So to this day, when you look up, you know, Winnebago's behind was on fire and it got burnt and all that red skin come peeling off. And to this day, you can see these red willows where they grow. That was what Winnebago gave us, Kinnikinnick and dogwood. So that's where that came from. And we'll talk about Kinnikinnick when I finish the story. So this is what Winnebago, when his hind end got on fire and he was roasting those ducks, and then he had to, you know, put his hind end out. So that's what he gave us. So then he went back by his fire and he looked at his ducks, and when he pulled those legs up, all there was just feet. Somebody had ate his ducks. Oh, Winnebago was really upset. So pretty soon along come my Ingen. I didn't bring my Ingen today, but he's a wolf. My Ingen come up there and they said, Winnebago, we ate some of your ducks. We are so sorry. And they were very scared of Winnebago because he was half spirit and half human. So the wolves came along and they gave Winnebago a little wolf pup, my Ingen ate. And then Winnebago wasn't mad at them. Winnebago had a pet my Ingen. And one day, as the my Ingen was growing, he went out on the lake, like in the springtime or in the fall. And my Ingen went on out on the lake, and he told my Ingen, don't go on that ice. You're going to go, you know, the underground water spirits are going to take you, and you can't go on the ice. So his wolf went out on the ice, the wolf pup that he was raising, and he couldn't find that pup. He looked everywhere for my Ingenates. My Ingenates, my Ingenates. Oh, the pup was gone. Pretty soon he looked up in a tree and he seen that blue jay sitting up there. Has anybody seen my wolf? And that blue jay was up there, and Winnebago looked at that blue jay, and he knew that blue jay had to know what happened to the pup. Winnebago, Anin. The underground water cat, Bijou, he got your pup. Oh, Winnebago said, oh. So Winnebago was really mad, and then he went over to the blue jay and he reached up and grabbed the blue jay like that and pulled this necklace off the blue jay, and it was a white shell necklace. And he recognized that necklace because that necklace, he made that for his wolf pup. And so sometimes you'll see those blue jays and they have a ring around their neck. And that was from Winnebago when he ripped that necklace off of that bird. So Winnebago said, well, I'm just going to sit here on this lake and I'm going to watch for that spirit cat. And he waited and he hid under some brush and trees and watched, and he was looking. Pretty soon, there was this big snake. And the snake was guarding the underground water cat. So he couldn't get that cat at all. And he really wanted to get that cat to pay him back for taking that wolf. So one day, Winnebago was sitting at the beach. And along come this great big frog. Hello. Why, hello there, Makaki. Where are you going? Oh, I got important business. I'm going to go pick some muskiki medicine for the underground bijou. Oh, you are? well, he's not well, he's sick, so I'm going to get some medicine for him. And then Winnebushi says, okay. So when the frog goes, pretty soon Winnebushi gets on the frog and kills the frog, and he puts the frog hide on himself. And then Winnebushi hopped around and he started into the lake to go find that. He's gonna go find that water spirit cat. So he gets there. The water spirit cat was laying in his wigwam, and so Winnebushi goes by the underground water cat, and the cat says, "Bonjour, Makaki." And Makaki says, "Bonjour, I got the medicine for you." So he goes over there by the underground water cat, and and he kills the underground water cat. And he throws the frog skin away. And then Winnebushi started running. He was really running up the hill. He was going, and all of a sudden the water just kept following him. Pretty soon Winnebushi was on the top of a mountain, and he was on the top of a tree. He was sitting up there on the top of that tree, and the whole world was flooded. And he calls to the animals, "Come and help me, come and help me." "What is the matter, Winnebushi? Can you dive down there and get some earth?" So the duck goes, and he goes down, and the duck couldn't get no earth. Pretty soon the other animals tried. After the duck, and then the beaver tried. Pretty soon the Wajush came. "I will try." "You, Wajush, you are afraid." "But I want to try." "Okay then," he says, "Wajush, you dive down there and you get some earth if you can." Pretty soon the Wajush swam all the way to the bottom, and he grabbed some earth, and his body was floating dead on the top of the water. And Winnebushi looked in the little rat's hands, and on his hands he had dirt. So Winnebushi, he breathed new life into the muskrat. He took the dirt and he put it on the turtle's back, and so everybody would be able to have land, Mother Earth again to live on. But Winnebushi, he created that flood, that second flood, by going into the water and killing that underground water cat spirit. So then everything was good with Winnebushi. So Winnebushi, he showed us these cattails. Now, cattails are really tall, and you'll find them in the lake, in the swamp, along the rivers. And some of those cattails are medicine. The cattails, if you follow them down, there'll be a little ear shoot. Looks like corn, a mini corn in the cob, shooting out of the side of that cattail. Well, that is bitterroot. So you go down to the bottom in the water, and you take those roots, and that's your bitterroot. That's how you identify the bitterroot cattail from the other cattails, because there will be a shoot off of it, and it actually looks like corn. And the white man call it calvaris. But it looks like a cattail, and you won't find it in the swamp area, but you might find it where there's muskrat lodges, because the muskrats, they are vegetarian, and they eat the roots of that plant. And so along river streams, and if you go out where there's a dock and walk out there and look at those cattails, and you follow your eyes straight down, then you'll see that little shoot coming off of that. Then you'll know that's the bitterroot. And then the other thing from the story is this kinnikinnick. This is really good. It has salicylic acid in it, and they use it to make aspirin. But you can boil up this red willow and You can wash with it, and it's good to cure up skin conditions. You can, in the summertime, they cut these into 10-inch lengths, and they make about 10 of them, and they lace them all together like a raft, and then they put them in the water as a spirit offering so that the water spirits don't bother us. And plus it gives blessings to your home. Other things to do with this is make knick-knack. You peel off this thin red stuff, and then you take the inner bark, and then you dry it out, and you can mix it in with your tobacco mixtures. So you can make chokers with these. They're real soft on the inside, you know, for lacing. So there is a lot of things you could do with red willow, and that includes like making a hoop for a dream catcher. So that's just a little bit of the story that you might hear about Winnebuju. When he was roasting those ducks, we took that frog's hide. So them are some of the things that you might remember. In the blue jay, why he has a ring around his neck. He was wearing that white shell necklace that Winnebuju made for his puppy. Okay, so some of you may be very familiar with this. This is some stuff that we use. Tobacco. Hello? Yeah. Good. Oh. Okay. Okay, well, we'll talk again. I'm in the middle of a presentation. Okay. Sorry about that. It was the school talking about my grandson. Okay, so this is something I wanted to show the people, the mothers and children. So like right here I have yarrow, and this is yarrow, what it looks like. It's a white flower, and then it has these ferns that come off of there. In the Anishinaabe we call this plant a jitumawu, and this is dried yarrow. So, and this is it's a tall, it'll be coming out. It grows in abundance just like dandelions. So, now what you do with yarrow is you hang the white flower above your doorway for protection, or any kind of a white flower. And yarrow is particularly a good plant. Yarrow was used by the Wabanoo Society of Michigan. Wabanoo people, they would take fields and fields of the yarrow, and they would boil it. They would like put their hands in it, so it toughens up your hands. So if you're weaving, then you don't have cuts and stuff. Yarrow is like if you're bleeding profusely, you could take some of this yarrow or a fern and chew it up and put it on that cut, and the cut will stop bleeding. So yarrow is very good too. If you get burnt, to boil it up, put your arm in there, take your arm out after soaking it, put the ferns on there, and put a bandage on there, and keep it wet. And then at night, you take that all off and put some bear grease on there so the air doesn't hurt that burn. So like yarrow, they say that yarrow fights evil. So what you do is you take yarrow to get rid of evil, like something's evil coming in your house and bothering you. and a paranormal thing or anything, you take the yarrow and you take a little bit of yarrow and you a little bit of the yarrow, and I'm going to show you what you're going to do. So you take a little yarrow, you take a cloth, a piece of cloth. Okay, you don't need a scissors. What if you're in the woods, you don't have a scissors? So you rip it a little bit, and then you go like this. There's your tie. Then you want to make a square. So you're going to rip it again to make that square. See? You got a square, you got a square, and you got a tie. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the yarrow, you're going to put it in there, because that's going to get rid of evil. Then after you do the yarrow, then you're going to add, you don't want a bigger evil to come in. So you don't want a bigger evil to come in, because a bigger evil could come in because like there could be a void there. So then secondly, what you're going to do to fill that void is you're going to take sweetgrass along with the yarrow. And what the sweetgrass is going to do is it's going to bring you good luck, you know, good fortune. And so you put the yarrow in there to get away evil. Then you put this to fill that void, and you want to fill it with sweetgrass because that's going to be good. So here you have something to work against evil and something to bring good. Then what you're going to do after you put that in there, then you're going to see, you're going to take cedar and you're going to put that in there. You're going to take your cedar, because this is grandmother's cedar, and what grandmother cedar's job is to establish balance of that power. So what you're going to do is you're going to put that all in there really good, and then what you're going to do is you don't have to have a big fancy medicine pouch, you know, like people carry big medicine pouch. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your string, you're going to tie it up, you can take a scissors, or if you have a scissors, and you could trim it down. But see, these little protection ties, you can put them in your car, put them in your house. You can wear them. You can wear them, like put them on a safety pin, like here, a safety pin, and just wear them. And you know, you could put them in a medicine pouch, but then you know what you have in this little red tie. So this is your protection. So this is your protection wear against stuff. A kind of protection. There's all kinds of protection, but this is a protection. Protection, so you could just pin it on you and pin it on your coat or wherever when you go out and about, and there you have a protection. But that's what goes in there. Yarrow, which is that yarrow, this flower, and it has ferns that shoot off in September, August. They get these white flowers, and then the reason why they call it squirrel tail in Ojibwe is because when those little ferns are wet, they're just like a squirrel's tail. They're green. Squirrel's tail is really good. You could take 4 ferns to a cup of water and they'll get bloating off of you. They'll strengthen your kidneys. They'll heal your throat. They're good for bleeding and cuts, to stop bleeding and cuts right away. They grow in abundance everywhere. So, and they're also for protection. They used to put their hands in boiled yarrow before they would weave stuff, you know. So yarrow is really good. But that's how it's used for protection, and how to make a medicine protection, and why you put those particularly 3 plants together, the yarrow, the sweetgrass, and the cedar. Like some people want to put sage in there. No, no. Don't put other stuff in there. Just put those 3 things together. You can also make other medicines to wear, but this is the one that I'm teaching for the mothers and the children to be really safe. Now I have other medicines here that you would put over your house. So like here's a medicine tie, and this red tobacco tie is the same way, only thing you put tobacco in there. Now you're going to get some cedar, and you're going to put a red tie onto the cedar, and you could, if you have an eagle feather, you put an eagle feather on there, and then you put a strip of black cloth, and then it's all ready to go. And you smudge it before you put it over your doorway. And I have like 10 of these. They cover every window and door in my house, and I put eagle feathers on every one of them. When you live in apartment kind of housing, you want to put an eagle feather up. If you have your own house, you don't have to put an eagle feather up. But when you're living in an apartment complex, then you should have a feather. Because if other people are partying and stuff, then bad spirits can come around. So, like, when you do this type of protection, you have to smudge this tobacco, and what it does is it recharges this tobacco so that it can collect some more. So, and another thing, you don't always have to pray to your feather, because your feather is also using this tobacco, and that's what it needs to do its job. So this is a protection thing that a person can make, and it doesn't have to be like, this is real tobacco, and this is real seeds to grow tobacco, that kind of tobacco. And then this is, if you can't have real tobacco, you can just buy a package. But what you do is you put all this tobacco in a bandana, in a cloth, and then you put it over a smudge, and then you put all the tobacco back in there. So, because it's that kind of tobacco. Then here's another thing that I hang over my doorway. It's a sweetgrass, and it's a yarrow. So that's another protection thing. And then here's another thing that I have. It's called Old Style Spider Weave Dream Catcher. And you never put anything on this. You just do the weave, and you put it on a wooden hoop, any kind of a wooden hoop. And see, it's got 8 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you set all 8 points, and then you weave, but you don't pull it all together until you like lace it 9 times. And then you pull it, you get that little swirl. But what it's indicative of is that we as Indian people are lowered from above. So if you look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So here we are on the fifth level here. When we die, we pass through 4 more levels and directions to go to. So like when the evil sees this, then they know they're not going to come under your doorway, because this is the world. Like the spider knows the world. And so this is a spider. One time up in Canada, we did a healing, and the people had a bad spirit demon in there, like the Hoofman. You know, they have different names for him. But he wouldn't leave those people alone, and somebody sent that spirit to that family. So they were told make the dream catcher, and then they were still having problems. So I looked at the girl and I says, "What kind of dream catcher did you make?" And I guess her mother made one of those flowers, or kind of a star dream catcher. And I said, no, you're supposed to make this kind of dream catcher. And I see these dream catchers, but sometimes there's 7 strings, and sometimes there's 12 strings and 7 circles. But this is exact. This is 8 strings and 9 circles on a hoop. So, and that needs to be smudged sometime too as well. But this is what I put over both of my doorways. They used to hang them on the babies' tickanoggins, sleeping cradles and stuff. But that's why I make them with 9 openings to the center, because that's how life is. Anywhere in this circle, we still go back to the center, no matter where you're lowered down from in any season or any given time. So so like I gather willow or bark and I make these hoops, and then I do sinew. And so like the sinew is like 2 lengths, like 1, 2 lengths like this. And then you probably have 2.5 lengths. See, I'll show you. 1, 2, and then it's already laced up, so it'd be about 2.5 arm span, and then it's enough to do a hoop this size without any break or anything. So it takes about 45 minutes for me to make one of them weaves. So there you go. That's how to protect yourself. And what you do is when you smudge and you use this sage, you don't have to have a bowl. You don't have to have an abalone shell. You could take a little bit of sage and even put it in the frying pan. And what you want to do is you want to dry out your cedar and keep it, and dry it out and grind it up in a grinder once it's good and dry. And you want to like cut this up and grind it up and put it in a jar. And what you want to do is you want to take the dried up, ground up cedar and sweetgrass, and you want to sprinkle it over your sage. So then it's not so strong that it overwhelms little kids, you know, because sage can be pretty strong and powerful. This plant is from the buffalo grass, Muscodea mishkiki. So that's the one who has this medicine for us. And so you just, like a long time ago when they used to pray, when they used to pray, now they didn't always have pipes, they had a rock bowl. A rock bowl. So like, you take your, like, we didn't have pipes and stuff. Like, so what we do is offer our tobacco, and we go up with it, and we go to the, keep it in your left hand, and you go to the east, Wabanun, Jawanun, Wunde Bayagada Sultanab, Ningabianun, Wunde Bayagada Sultanab, Iwayanun, Wunde Bayagada Sultanab, and also Ningabianun, the Benesiwag from that direction. So like, and then you go back up again. This time it's not for the Creator. This time it's for the grandmothers and the stars and other spirits up there in Ishpeming. And then you take your tobacco and you offer it down to the earth. And the spirits in the center in the earth, the Wakimik, and also Nibikang, the water spirits. And you offer your tobacco to your spirits, and you offer your tobacco to your drum or anything else that's spiritual of yours, a rock or whatever, and then you put it out. And lastly, last one who wants to be acknowledged is Amashoma Sanan Manidu Isis, the grandfather's son. So like, these spirits are real, you know, and then in that wooden bowl, I mean, in that rock bowl, they used to have these bowls that were carved out of stone. And then you put your tobacco in that stone, and then you burn it and it goes up. Or you could put it outside on the ground when you pray. But yeah, you offer your tobacco and pray in the best way that you know how. So, and then this tobacco, this is tobacco, just tobacco and nothing else on grandmother's cedar. So, like, when evil spirits see this, he don't like that red berry and this black cloth, and he don't like this. So it's gonna turn back, you know. There's other medicines, because usually my place is pretty well. I smudge and do everything, but sometimes really bad spirits can come in and follow somebody in and piggyback off of somebody. So you need to like be vigilant and consistent in, you know, everything that you do. So, but so we got sage, ishkanda, ungash, sema, ajitumomowen, yarrow. So we learned a little bit about making protection wear for your little children, and always remember, when you go somewhere, wear your bag, put cedar in your moccasins, no matter where you're going to go at events. So, and even now, this is protection. You wear mirrors, you know, so bad spirits don't come around and bother you. You'll see a lot of dancers wear mirrors. So, but yeah, you would want to get a nice pan and a nice cloth. Always have red and black cloth available. These are beaver balls. These are beaver balls. And they're very, very strong. And my son did not like smudging with these. But I cut these up and I grind them up. They're still drying out, see? So I'm going to leave them hang for a lot longer, you know, for that meat in there to dry out. And then what I do is I grind it up. So if you don't want a pesto, a coffee bean grinder works pretty good. They burn out, but they're like less than 25 bucks in the store. So, but I use this, I add it to a smudge because it's really strong, and yeah, we use this too for protection. Beavers, casters. Other medicines, but I think that this pretty much does it. But what I want to say is you can take this cedar and put it in a bag if you want it to stay green, and put it in the freezer. Otherwise, you can take some and dry it out really well. And like, you can put this under your mattress so you don't have bad dreams. You can put it underneath your grandchild's bed, you know, or in their pillow, you know, so they don't have bad dreams. You can boil up this much in a roaster, like a turkey roaster, and you can boil that up, and then what you do is, it's in the roaster, and when you go to sweat, you take a big blanket like this, and you go over there, and you take that roaster, and you lift that lid up off of there before you go like that, so you don't scald yourself, because you don't want to scald yourself. So like it's in the roaster, you take the roaster lid off before you start sweating, because you don't want to scald yourself, because it's boiling cedar water. And you set that pot of water on a stable thing, chair. So what I'm going to show you is this. So here's a chair. You put the roaster on there, and then you, or even on a toilet, haul it into the bathroom and put it on a toilet seat. And then what you do is you take that lid off, and then you sweat. Sweat yourself. Yeah. Then you take it off. You don't have to, like, if you're tied down with a lot of kids and you can't get to a sweat lodge, it's not mandatory for you to go to a sweat lodge, because a lady and females, they go through purification every month when they go through their menstruation, and men don't have that. So like, but with today's the environment we live in today has so many like toxins and stuff, and the stuff that we eat, preserved foods and stuff in our lungs, and the stuff that we breathe, it really helps to sweat. To sweat brings yourself. It's like going into a sauna, but you can do that in the privacy of your house when your kids go to bed, and get your roaster of cedar. You can wash with cedar. And if you use boiled cedar water and strain it, you use it for a finishing rinse, like for your hair, go and pour that out on the ground outside. Don't pour it down the sink. Go put it on the ground and put tobacco down that roaster of water. So like when you got your roaster of water and you're going to sweat for 4 days, you're going to take 1 cup, 2 cups, 3 cups, 4 cups, and you're going to set them aside, those 4 cups. Then you're going to use this water to sweat with, to wash with, and then you're going to use these 4 cups that you set aside, you're going to drink them. So what you're doing is you're cleaning from the inside out as well. So when you boil up your big roaster, take 4 cups out. That's going to be for the 4 days that you're going to drink cedar, wash with cedar, steam bath with cedar. So, and you will be surprised at how well you feel just by doing that. I think all these medicines have a lot to offer for a state of mental health. It calms you if you have anxiety, and if you wash with this and you drink this, you know, even this is a medicine. It will reduce a fever. This will reduce a fever. This medicine, sage. So, and it also is good to wash with the sage. So that's what I'm sharing today. And I forgot I didn't bring my roaster, I didn't bring my blanket, but I just wanted to let you know that, you know. So that's what the Indians do, and that's what the grandmothers and the grandfathers do, and it's not all that complicated, you know. When you go down the road and you're going to see this red willow, this is good. You're going to go down the road, you're going to see the red willow. You're going to go down the road, you're going to see, you know, well, sage don't really grow, but when you drive down the road, you'll see sage, male and female sage growing. You'll see cedar trees. Yep, you'll smell sweetgrass. You know, so, yeah, there's a lot of medicines out there. And you'll see that yarrow. Remember what I told you? It grows like dandelions. It grows everywhere. It's green. It has little ferns, like a squirrel's tail, but they're green. Okay. There. Well, at least they learned where the red willow come from.